Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Horror Movie Night, live here at Fantastic Fest, and I'm sitting down with Carl and Gil, the team behind The Wave, which, all I'm going to tell you guys is I saw the early press screening of it yesterday, and the first thing I felt compelled to do when I left the theater was actually go to my car and meditate for 10 minutes. It's a surreal, weird, trippy movie that literally makes you want to just take a deep breath and like center yourself and kind of let the universe guide you a little bit. So was that always the end goal with this movie, was to inspire through like a weird trippy thing, or am I just weird?
No, I mean, man, that's like an ideal reaction. I think, the idea, we're very much reflecting on the sort of psycho-spiritual elements of psychedelics predominantly, that connection to the universe, the oneness, the cosmic consciousness that Frank very much goes on that path to endure and be enlightened to. And if any of that comes across the audience, then I'm chuffed to bits. That's great.
And I think from the writing process as well, is like, and as a guy, I've been a parent, I've been in the corporate world, I've done all these different lives, and you kind of reach this point in life where you kind of have to step back and reconsider your values on all of that, and that's just consider how much time you actually have on this planet, and your connection to it, and the people around you, and just basically the footprint you leave in the world. And it's so, if you took that away from the film, that's spot on.
Yeah, perfect. It really is. I feel like everyone tries to make references to like what other movie it makes them think of in order to like best explain it. And to me, it's almost like a comedic Donnie Darko in a weird way.
Yeah.
But what were some of the inspirations that pulled you guys in as a writer and director for the storytelling and the visual aspect of it?
After Hours, the Scorsese film, was a big inspiration from the get-go. The idea of taking a protagonist that we don't necessarily like. I mean, you like him and you want to support him, but at the same time, the idea of locking the audience with someone who reflects them back on themselves and kind of trapping you there with him while he goes through this punishment, I think was a big inspiration for me when I was writing it.
I'm trying to think. I think I just desperately deluded myself into thinking I could make something original while not realizing I was plagiarizing heavily from everything I've been raised with.
But isn't that most of creation at this point?
Yeah, I'm just running 100 miles away from plagiarizing and inadvertently borrowing from everything.
But I think I think the strongest movies these days are the ones that are like a stew of inspiration.
I mean, it's inescapable. Raised loving cinema, we're so impacted by such phenomenal works of art that it just lives in your subconscious as well. You think you're doing something cool and you're like, oh no, I just did a tip of the hat to Fight Club. Yeah, that's not an unknown movie.
When there's been 1,000 years of cinema, it's pretty hard. So I'm someone who has never done a drug in my life, so this was a very surreal experience to watch. But for the listeners at home, it's a very drug-fueled film. Has this been pulled on any of your own experiences with psychedelics, or just from reading studies about it?
No, I mean, I don't shy away that I've definitely been exposed to psychedelics, and they've had, in the same way they're becoming medicinal now. I've had incredibly profound effects of it, and that sort of that awe, that mind expanding and ultimately beautiful experience of temporary enlightenment, as it tends to feel. That we were really, really trying to get that across in this movie.
And I think also it playing just as the metaphor that it is. It's that thing you're afraid of. And on the other side is an experience it's waiting. Yeah. You have to go through that thing you're afraid of in order to get to that, or you can just continue existing. And this is that's where you find growth. That's where you find your development as a human being. I believe on the other side of taking chances, taking risks, diving into those things you're scared of. It's getting dark in here.
Slowly getting romantic.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna die. Am I dying? You guys, you guys see the lights going down as well.
Nothing like talking about surreal drug experiences as the lights slowly dim in the room on you.
His audio start moving.
It's fine. This is a fine room.
So a little bit of the casting is, I just think, are great choices. Seeing Donald Faison playing almost like a jerky version of what you're used to seeing him play. He's usually that really tight best friend, but this is the tight best friend that's going to get you into some really bad shit.
Yeah.
And then Justin Long's just such a likable person that you created a character with him that's challenging because you want to like him because he's Justin Long and he's charming as all hell, but he's doing some really bad, fucked up shit.
Yeah. I mean, Justin's likability is the spine of the movie.
Yeah.
Frank doesn't do many good things, not to spoil anything, but he doesn't do much good.
No.
He learns why he's a piece of shit in many regards. And Justin is so fundamentally human and accessible and likable. And to me, that is the soul of our movie, is this person who you can't help but care about because he's just so goddamn likable.
And the idea with Donald, Donald's whole role, he's a force for good. We were always weighing out the characters, and we would be like, okay, well, these are the heralds of the universe, and these people are here to keep you grounded where you don't want to be. And the heralds of the universe, they're all based in a level of chaos, of you stepping out of your comfort zone and doing something you wouldn't normally do. There's a recurring metaphor in the film of the chair. I don't think anybody's got yet.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Every time Frank is sitting, he's sitting in the same chair.
Yeah, I was curious about that because it's in the. I mean, I'm trying to talk about it without spoiling too much, but it's in the drug dealer's room. It's in the party. It's
in his office. It's in his house. He finds
in the desert.
Yeah, yeah. He finds that chair everywhere he goes because that's his comfort zone. That's where he's trying to get back to. And you get to the end, and there's the big moment where he throws the chair away. But
that's just our masturbatory.
The obvious metaphor.
Did you all notice the chair? No.
Look at the chair. We put it in the movie.
I do appreciate for a behind the scenes, Carl's like, no one's noticed the chair thing. I'm the first interview today, Carl.
You're right.
Look, but technically nobody else has mentioned it.
So I like what you were saying with Frank a little bit, is that I think it's very reasonable that a lot of the times I feel like we try to give too much credit to the bad people know that they're bad. And really, most of us are probably not as good as we actually think we are. So casting someone like Justin Long that you want to and you're kind of going through that same... It's almost like how in Memento you're having the same disability where you don't know what happened prior. In this one, you don't know how shitty Justin Long is until he's realizing how shitty he is along the way.
Yeah, I mean, it's the whole movie's meant to be a ride. It's our big day. We are all Frank. That's the idea, is that Frank's not an outright antagonist. You know what I mean? He's not walking around doing something mean. He's just playing by the rules, but the rules are fucked.
Yeah, the rules are set to fail.
Yeah, there are people who need a job working for a health insurance company, and they don't want to be, withholding stuff from people all the time. It's happening every day, and there's good people working for Kaiser Permanente and all these other companies and withholding health insurance from people all day long. And they're not bad guys. They're playing the game by the rules that are being presented to them. Just the rules are fucked.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're talking about people who, we live in our little bubbles, and we're like, okay, well, these are my kids, and this is my wife, and this is my house, and this is my family, and the rest of the world can get fucked, and that's kind of the mindset that we fall in, whether we really want to or not. I mean, even people going so far the other way, I'm trying to give everything I have to everyone, they're still at the same time isolating themselves. And you're finding yourselves in these, bubbles where you're no longer able to communicate with people outside of it, because, I mean, they might as well be speaking another language. It's you can't relate. And so that's the idea, is about playing with empathy and the importance of that.
And where can people who are listening see The Wave? Is there a bunch of other film festivals that are on the horizon, or is there a website where they can follow what's next for it, or social media or anything like that?
Absolutely. The Wave Film on
Instagram.
Instagram.
Just at The Wave Film.
Okay.
Or is it The Wave Movie?
It's The Wave Film, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
We should
stuff.
probably learn our stuff. There's
It's definitely a film. It's not a movie.
Screamfest in LA is coming up. So if you're in LA, you'll have a chance to see that coming up in the first October 12th, I think, somewhere in there. First week of October, second week of October, and
that's the only one we know confirmed. The other ones, they're still up in the air. And man, these festival organizers are juggling so many films. I'm really surprised if they find out last minute.
Yeah.
So go follow The Wave Film on Instagram, and as soon as you guys are allowed to announce, people will know.
I think they're looking at a end of January release.
Okay.
And what scale of release I think will be determined by critical reviews and what people talk about at festivals.
And how many people join Instagram?
But yeah, I mean, it'll be widely available for streaming. This thing was always designed to be. I always envisioned it, consumed on a Sunday. Somebody at home who wants to be entertained and thought provoked. But like somebody described it as pop existentialism. It's like a philosophical experience, but also pop, also fun. It's a ride.
I think that this is going to be one of those films that flourishes on streaming too, because it's one of those, like, you're going to watch it and recommend it to someone else, and I think people are way more willing to stream something that they don't know too much about that someone's recommended than drop the $12 to see it, usually at a theater that they're not used to going to, because it's a smaller indie film, so they gotta go into the city and find it.
Exactly. No, I mean, that was always the intention. Everything down to the aspect ratio we shot it in. We always knew there's a chance people might watch this on their iPads or on their phones.
Yeah.
And good. We want to share this story with everybody, not just somebody who's willing to part with an unreasonable amount of money to go see it.
And we were really excited to premiere at Fantastic Fest for that reason as well, because there's a good chance a tiny movie like ours would get lost in something like something big like Toronto, or and premiering here, we're playing right to our base. We're going to find our audience that way, and I think it's been kind of surreal.
It's been wonderful.
All right, well, thank you so much for the time, guys.
Thank you. Thank you for taking the time.
You're listening to the Geekscape Network.